just for the record. An Adelaide stuntman takes on a 25-metre tunnel of fire.
No one else in radio has the guts to do what I do.
A New York DJ offers radio couch therapy for confused canines.
The dog had multiple personalities. It was like working with Sybil.
The world's most prolific gambler has $1 million up for grabs. Immaculate Mary turns the amps up to 11 to become the world's loudest rock and roll band.
It was loud. Man, was it loud. I'm glad no one got hurt.
And it's all just for the record.
Ollie and Twiggy just love to party. These two cuties have decided the high-tech life is far more fun than looking for acorns. While the rest of their forest friends forage for food, Ollie and Twiggy spend their days engaged in poolside antics. Ollie and Twiggy's dad, Chuck Best, takes in 6 squirrels and nurses them back to health. In fact, Ollie recovered from paralysis of the legs to become the showman he is today.
That, don't you?
Good girl.
Yeah. See, that's just what my little tummy needs.
Well, Chuck, why do you like working with animals?
Well, I own a roller skating rink, and I'm around kids all the time, and animals give me a chance to work with something that doesn't talk back to me.
Are squirrels particularly intelligent?
They're about as smart as a cat or a dog. We don't use food to train them like you would a cat or a dog. We use affection for training. In fact, I've trained squirrels to do other things, 3 to ski in a pyramid, 1 to hang glide, and fly a helicopter.
And where do you get your patience from?
Well, this is really nothing. I also taught a horse how to water ski, and I taught a toad frog how to water ski, but he unfortunately got ate by a snake. Okay, good boy, Ollie. Stay up.
Chuck usually releases his squirrels into the wild, but leaving was the last thing on Ollie and Twiggy's mind. They knew a good thing when they saw it.
Uh-oh. Sorry about that, Ollie.
They've even become TV celebrities just from having a good time.
How many years has Western civilization waited for this? A skiing squirrel. Only in Florida, only in the US of A.
Ollie and Twiggy are just nuts about performing in front of a camera or a crowd. Indeed, they're about to take their celebrity squirrel show on the road. But to Twiggy, Sanford, Florida will always be home, because just for the record, she is the first ever squirrel to have received the key to the city.
Twiggy, on behalf of all the people of the city of Sanford, I would like to present you a key to our city. For all the publicity you have brought us and the service you have given us, it's my pleasure to present this to you.
Ken Maroney has a fascination with fire. Some like it hot. He loves it.
Get too much hotter than out there on the speedway. Or does it? For Ken Maroney, the answer is yes.
Ken is a 29-year-old Adelaide stuntman who scratches a living out of performing some pretty amazing motorcycle stunts while on fire. A hot act, to say the least.
But it's going to get a lot hotter. In just a few hours, Ken Maroney will attempt to break his own world record for a stunt he calls the Highway to Hell, a 25-metre or 70-foot tunnel of fire. But there's no audience to cheer him on and no big fat prize money purse at the end of this tunnel, because tonight, for Ken Maroney, it's just for the record.
The record for the tunnel stands at 60 feet, 20 metres, and when he set that record 2 years ago, he nearly didn't come out the other end.
A stunt like tonight's Tunnel of Fire, it is a world first and an extremely dangerous stunt. How do you train for something like that and implement it?
I practice it a few times with my eyes closed so that when I do ride through the actual fire tunnel that's full of fire, you can't see a thing in there. And halfway through, the motorbike usually starts to stall because there's a lack of oxygen in there. So I pull the clutch into the motorbike and I freewheel out the other side because the motorbike actually will stall in the middle of the tunnel.
Describe the high you get after you finish a stunt.
A classic adrenaline rush. I feel great. I was just about killed, and then here I am standing, waving to all the folks. I feel great. Real good satisfaction.
What if it stops in the middle?
I wouldn't advise staying in there for too long, because you might get grilled.
Ken has chosen the windswept sand flats of Port Gawler, where horses compete with horsepower for the attempt. Strung out across this deserted beach is 25 metres of chicken wire, hay bales, old tyres and cardboard cartons soaked in gasoline. One match will turn it into a tubular inferno. Ken has been riding, falling off and crashing motorcycles ever since he was 10 years old. The first fender he bent was on dear old Dad's 100cc scooter. Today the machines he rides are 10 times more powerful and he rides them on one wheel. Radical monos, as he puts it.
One thing I like about a stuntman is, for a start, I used to be a fitter and turner by trade. You'd work every day, you'd just do a little bit towards this thing that was going to get made in 2 years and you'd never see it. At least with the stunts I do, we do it in one day, we film it. If it's for a movie, you see the rushes at the end of the movie, you get good work satisfaction out of it. You know you've accomplished something, you know, and you don't have to wait 6 months to actually see your end product.
But Ken doesn't always land on his feet. Times are tough in the stunt business and work hard to come by. He runs his company, Southern Cross Stunts, from an old tin shed in the South Australian countryside and does all his own preparation work. But just for the record, in 8 years of stunts, he's never broken a bone.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, away!
But there's always that one variable, that little something you don't count on. Something that can turn an otherwise safe stunt, if you could use such a word in this business, into a death trap. Tonight, it's in the shape of a hefty 25-knot wind sweeping Port Gawler, a wind that could blow him off course and into the wire meshing. With a rising tide and time slipping away, Ken decides to make the attempt. But seconds before Ken makes his approach, disaster strikes. Only one side of the tunnel catches fire, and in the mad confusion that follows, he is still given the go-ahead. The attempt is a total and utter write-off. But Ken Moroney doesn't give up without a fight, and the next day, he's back on the beach to rebuild the tunnel. Weather conditions are perfect. All he has to do is make it through. Under 10 layers of overalls and covered from head to foot in fireproof gel, he starts his approach. But 1 inch from the end, Ken Moroney's attempt comes to a savage end. His bike crashes into the last pole, throwing him into the blazing hay. Ken Moroney isn't a quitter. You can knock him down, you can't knock him out. And in true Burt Reynolds style, after saving his bacon from the fire, he hauls himself up on a badly twisted ankle to have the last say.
If you can't take the pain, don't play the game. So there you go. Want to try it again tomorrow?
And the last we heard, he was chasing a nurse down a hospital corridor.
Coming up, Gary Who Goes Undercover.
And there is. Your partner takes it all. Boy, have I found the answer. Just for the record, I found the largest bed in Australia.